Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
I'll tell you, if you're in a bad mood and you watch that opening, it always makes you feel good. I want to thank Mr. Mendoza for helping me put that together. He always making me look good, and boy, is that a hard trick. Today, we've got a great show for you today. We've got Charles Gellman on. We're going to talk about AI and your health. Charles has come up with all kinds of applications for AI. He also is an expert on robotics and health. We're going to do all kinds of really cool things. We usually focus our AI stuff on real estate, but AI is going to impact us in many different ways, many of which we can't even figure out today. So it's going to be tremendous. And of course, I always want to start the show by thanking our sponsors of Warren Henry. Thank you to Larry, Eric, Ismit, Jack, Gio, all of our friends at Warren Henry. They make us look good. Larry, how could I forget Larry? Did I say Larry? Hi, Larry. I love you, Larry. All of our friends at Warren Henry, Katie, they always make us look good. They've been sponsors for well over a decade. You know, the show's been on. This is show 730. We've been on for 15 years. It's tremendous. Mr. Mendoza has been with us a long time. So let's get with it, Mr. Mendoza. Let's talk about our health and AI and how the world's going to be a better place. There he is, Charles Gellman. Welcome, Charles. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jim. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And that hat is awesome. So you're going to have to send me one.
Oh, for sure. No doubt. Oh, well, they'll send you a box. Now it says Chief Patient Advocate on your heading. And what I really like to do is talk a little bit about your background, about your firm and what you do, and why you're really a patient advocate. Because if we're talking about AI and you're a patient advocate, it seems like a disconnect, but it's really where everything comes together.
Yeah. So my background is in data science. So I specialize in AI assisted robotics in the home to help assist patients help themselves so they can live a healthier, longer life with a lot of the complex regimens that they get from physicians when they do see them in person.
You know, that really makes all the sense in the world. My mom's 85. Her pill box is prolific. And I know that if they mess up one of those pills or a little bit of the dose, or she forgets, that can be problematic. There are other things that people need help when they're at home that are physical. So I got to believe it's a combination of robotics and AI that you can bring to the table that can help people live a better life. And let's not forget, just because somebody's a little older doesn't mean that they don't deserve to have a good life just the way everybody else does.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking for what you and I have right now, which is independence and freedom. And, you know, a quarter of the population right now has chronic disease. So that's cardiovascular disease, diabetes, or some type of other underlying health condition. So it's not just the folks that are over 65. There's many millions of people that are under that may had a heart attack or a stroke or some type of other ailment that is uncontrollable. And then to your point, they get a complex regimen of medications, and it's very hard to handle and ensure that you're taking the medications as prescribed. So many people get confused at home, and that's where things get a little cattywampy.
I mean, I'm not a normal person, but for this discussion, we'll pretend that I am. I have to have a pill box. I only take one thing. But I have to have a regimen. Mm-hmm. And many times I'll forget and I won't remember. It's for my back. And I won't remember until my leg starts to go numb again. And I go, oh, I didn't take my meds. What kind of a dummy am I? That's one pill. Yeah. I can't imagine having 30 a day. And I know people that do, including my wife, who's a kidney transplant survivor. She misses a pill or gets messed up. It's a very significant issue for her. Tell me, what are some of your solutions?
Yeah. So what I do, or what we've developed, we invented a new way to automate the way folks take medications at home. So what HiDO does stands for Health Information Data Outcomes. So what we're trying to figure out is the blueprint for health. And in order to figure out the blueprint for health, you have to understand and know whether or not people take medications. So if you had a HiDO device in the home, you'd walk up, it uses Face ID to unlock the device. So it's the right person, the right place, then dispenses the medications as prescribed by your doctor or nurse. So those are dispensed. Then we do a video recording to ensure that you're taking your medications when you need to take them. And ultimately, because of this entire ecosystem has been developed, it's very patient friendly. We had to do that because patients want to maintain their health. They just need a little bit of assistance. And that pill box that you were speaking of is not a very smart technology. And the culmination of that technology, we've seen what happens. People make mistakes. And we don't know how many mistakes are made right now at home with that pill box because we're dependent upon that person to take all of the burden of their medication regimens. And that's very problematic.
So then taking it one step further, we have our PCP or endocrinologist or whoever's running that particular thing. And I got to believe you have to have a quarterback, because if you've got the head of everything, you've got nobody. You have to have a quarterback. So let's say that the person has a quarterback. And I guess that they maybe your device has a code and the doctor can send in what it is. And if it needs to be changed, they can change the code, and the person, either one reason or another, may not be able to stay focused. And as the medicine changes, they take last week's dose and have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, so this is interesting. So you mentioned quarterback. I'm going to throw a question to you in the audience, so the audience can play in the background. Jim, how many caregivers are there in the United States right now?
You mean the people that are home health care provider types?
Anybody that helps the folks that need help, family, friends, loved ones. How many people are
assisted? It's infinite. It's you're unable to determine it, because at one point or another, I think every member of our community is responsible for either themselves or somebody else. So that's just my answer. I don't really know. I didn't cheat.
It's a great answer. The estimate is around 40 million plus people are helping assist others right now in the home that are unpaid. So think about that.
That's 20% of the population that's not being productive.
It is a huge burden on the entire population to help assist people that are really having to self-manage themselves. So you spoke about the quarterback. What's interesting is that when you go into a clinic, when you go into the hospital, those are sterile environments. So you have a physician, you have a nurse, you have a pharmacist, you have a whole lot of resources surrounding a patient when they enter that environment. But the second they leave, they're on their own. Look in the mirror, look at the caregiver. It's all dependent upon whomever they have surrounding them. Half those patients don't have anybody, so they're on their own.
And so taking it to the next level, then that means that there's inconsistent execution of the plan across the population. Wow, that's something I really hadn't thought of. And then, of course, there's also the ability or the issue of cost of all these medications, and how does somebody afford to fill their dispensary?
Yeah. So trivia question number 2. I think you're going to enjoy this one, right? So how many prescriptions a year go out in the United States?
1 billion?
6 billion prescriptions at over $600 billion. And half of those medications aren't taken. Half, 300 billion a year that we're paying for right now are not taken.
Why aren't they taken?
Due to a variety of different factors. One, 99% of the patient population has those pill boxes.
Right.
Some of them stay in the pharmacy. They're never picked up. Some of them are picked up and those bags stay on a table in front of the person in their residence. There's a slew of reasons of why and how this happens, and the inconsistency of whether or not people take the medications. The issue is that when people don't take their medications, they go into the hospital, they go into the ER, they're hurt because they're not taking the medications that stabilize their disease state. And all of that can be fixed now. We don't have to continue to do the same thing as we have, as we're doing. We can fix it.
So what do I'll have to say it this way without any political implication at all. How does the government payment system integrate with this to create a more positive outcome, because I've got to believe that all of these data points are available out there. And I'm going to say it. And you've got to have robots. They're little things that can go out and scrape the data and put it all together, cook it up and serve it right. I mean, is that what you're kind of doing?
Yeah, so the government actually has in their Medicare Advantage plans their star ratings, and they're weighted based upon medication adherence for statins, for diabetes medications. So there is a way to measure, and organizations are starting to really put focus on this specific area, because right now the way they measured, it's called patient days of therapy, which means that if you have a prescription in the pharmacy and you pick it up, therefore now you have taken it. But we know that if people pick up their medication or if it's mailed to them, we don't know whether or not they missed or taken their medications or taken it according to how it's prescribed. So the data scientist in my head says, if we know exactly when patients take their medications, we know whether or not the medications are working as intended. Therefore, a physician or a nurse can alter the way they treat them to get the best outcomes possible. But you need those data sets in order to change the way we treat people.
So how does artificial intelligence come into play here?
Yeah, so artificial intelligence enhances physicians and nurses and pharmacists' ability to provide health. So if you think about all the different data sets that exist, so we'll say, your pain in your leg, you're losing feeling because you missed your medications. Well, when you see a doctor, he's got to look through all of your charts. He's got to look through your blood work. He's got to look through your family history. He's got to have be able to talk to you and figure out what's going on. And oftentimes we're pressed for time. Doctors have a short amount of time. Patient may or may not recall exactly what's going on in the home. And the doctor needs to take that information and come up with a decision of how they're going to treat you. And that's a lot of information for one to be able to store in their head in a matter of minutes and get it right. So what we can do with AI is we can enhance that experience. So all that information is aggregated so a physician or a nurse can make great decisions based upon all the information coming together in a simple package.
That's extremely important. I used to call what I did in real estate, looking at information and arbitraging it. So I got to believe on this, what you're really doing is you're pulling it all together. And again, I'm going to make the reference to robotics because I have other friends that are in AI. So you have little robots within all of this stuff that help people gather and organize the information, right? We're not talking about bringing in a robot dog into the house or a little thing that looks like R2D2 and here's your medicines, are we?
So what HiDO is, and it looks like a miniaturized version of RTD2. It doesn't move around the house. It's similar like a Keurig coffee machine crossed with a Ring device. So this is able to automate complex regimens for folks that need some additional assistance at home. So it's not going to be making you food. It's not going to be picking up your laundry. It's going to be ensuring that your health is stabilized and also be able to enable that type of communication to your pharmacist or your nurse or your doctor if you do have questions to make sure that you are aligned correctly. And that's a big problem right now in the industry, is that patients are often confused with what they're supposed to be doing. And because they're confused, they make mistakes at home that can be avoided.
We'll take a break right now, but I can think of one great little solution. I don't know if it's out there, but you take the little Roomba, and if it knows the pattern of where everything is, and then it bumps into something that's a little long or isn't supposed to be there, that could be a person. We'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. Mr. Mendoza, rock the house. We're having a great show today. We're talking about AI and the impact it can have on health at your home. I don't need any artificial intelligence to tell me where I'm buying my car. I buy them at Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. Lincolns, they're all up at 151st and Biscayne. My family's got 3 different Infinitis. I'm going to be going up to Gainesville in a few weeks. I'll stop in and see my friends at Warren Henry in Gainesville. They've got tremendous cars up there, great people, wonderful experience up there. Of course, if you're in the Keys, the Warren Henry store down in Key West has all kinds of nameplates, Jeep, everybody's down there. And what do all these great cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That's a long list of services. You heard me go over and over again of what they are. Suffice it to say that if you mess up your wheels, they'll help you with your wheels, make them look nice again. If you lose your fancy keys, they'll replace them. But more than that, they'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your leased or new car. They're going to get woohoo, easy for me to say, right? They're going to guarantee that you get the best value on your trade-in. They're going to give you 3 days to make sure you like your car, or you can exchange it or turn it in. Nobody ever really does that because they're tremendous cars. Once you sit in one, you'll understand. So join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, lots and lots of my friends, lots of my clients. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Those videos look like so much fun. Hey, Jim Fried here, founder of Sandstone Realty Advisors. I use all kinds of really cool stuff to help people get their real estate transactions done. But the thing I use most is my phone. I have longstanding relationships with people at all kinds of different levels and all kinds of different real estate lenders, investors, developers. And now we've got our new platform and portal with our broker dealer partnership with Oasis Pro. So we're heading into the future of real estate financing. I've got people asking me for demos and signing up. Stay tuned for all kinds of more information on our partnership with Oasis Pro. But the bottom line is reach out to me, call me, DM me if you've got a real estate transaction. I'm working on a couple of shopping center financings right now. I've got an apartment building I'm putting together the financing for. I'm helping other people, actually multiple apartment buildings. So reach out to me. I can get it done when others can't. That's what people find out. So DM me, reach out to me, call me. Remember, my personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by bringing them peace of mind. Everybody reach out to me, DM me. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Fried on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Fried or at Fried on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Fried1. Now, back to your host, Jim Fried.
All right, we're having a really super duper look into the future show here today. Actually, the future is here now. Bring back Charles. Where is he? There he is. Charles Gellman. He's the chief patient advocate. We're learning what that means for his firm. And they bring AI into your home and robotics to help you live a better life. Again, Charles, repeat for somebody who may have joined us. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, so HiDO is a robotic device that lives in your home that manages complex regimens. What we do is we ensure that the device, through Face ID, when a patient walks up, it dispenses medication at the right dosage, the right frequency, and the right count. Then once you take the medication, we have video recordings. So there's clinicians in the background to make sure that you are safe at home, living the best life you can.
So how does the device contain all the medications and how do I refill it?
Yeah, so we have patented technology on the actual cap. So a lot of the smartness or the intelligence of the device is within the cap. There's electronic transmission of data that sources the medication name, dosage, frequency. So whatever the prescribing regimen of your nurse or doctor, it's actually within the intelligence of the device itself. So it may be if a patient at home is struggling, it doesn't matter. we make sure that we are able to shoulder or take on that burden to make sure that your loved ones are safe.
Okay. So when we left, I was sort of making a joke, but not really, about I slipped and fell. I can't get up. I don't have my little button that they gave me, and my Roomba found me. Now, what's my Roomba going to tell anybody? I mean, is there a way to like oh, that's the way to ask the question. So does your device integrate into the Internet of Things and become one with the universe like that?
Yeah. So think of the HiDO as your home health hub. So there is Bluetooth technology where, let's say you wanted to look at your weight and your blood pressure. And let's say you did have a device where if you fell and you needed to contact somebody and everything needed to be integrated. The one thing that patients do frequently is they take their medications either morning, afternoon, or evening. So this gives us a way to log how you're doing and if you're doing well or if you're not. And the most important thing is that by tracking these behaviors, because what HiDO really is a behavior modification tool, you can alter people's health to improve it over time. But you got to know what's happening day to day. And right now we don't, because you see your doctor maybe once or twice a year.
See, so let me kind of drill down on that a little bit. So if I'm 5 minutes early, 5 minutes later, missing by 3 hours, when you go off, I got to use the term I'm going to hate. When you do too big of a standard deviation off of where you should be, it throws a light back at the headquarters and somebody comes out and checks.
Our goal is to ensure that you're living the best life possible. So if there are those behavior modifications that need to take place, then we're in the background being able to monitor those deviations. So I'll give you an example. Jim, you missed your medications.
Always.
Okay, so what happens if
I feel it?
Okay, when you feel it, what happens if your wife, was it Vivian?
Right. Oh boy, you're good, Charles.
So if Vivian notices that you miss your medications and then she's able to call you to remind you because she knows that you miss your medications, that's going to alter your behavior, but it's also going to help you from having a painful event later in the day. So we integrate a variety of different tools to help people help themselves.
This is so tremendous, because that really is the key, is that as people age, they want to age in place. They want to age in their home. But they really want to maintain their independence. And this is really the next step in the ability to maintain the independence, because a lot of these issues happen when you're over or under medicated. I know, because I overtook medication and had a whole big thing, which we don't need to go into today. But if you mismedicate, that's just as bad as if you over medicate by accident. It's just as bad as missing. So, Charles, how do people learn about your system? Is your system widely available across the U.S.?
Yeah. So if you want to visit or learn more about it, it's at hidohealth.com, HIDO health.com, or you can go on YouTube, search HiDO Health. And we have plenty of videos for you to understand a little bit more about the technology. There's also patient stories, folks that had stroke or have dementia, cancer, in addition to other different types of chronic diseases. So please visit us there and be more than happy to respond if you leave any comments or messages.
Can you give us one kind of example that, you can share with us about how this changed somebody's life?
I will give you an example where I think it can impact about 6.5 million people in the United States. So
that works.
A friend of a friend asked us if they could use the device for their mother-in-law who has dementia. Now, this is a use case that, as folks age, we tend to have memory issues. I didn't think it'd be possible whether or not the HiDO device would work, but we gave it a shot, right? So we gave her the device. We monitor what was happening. It took a little bit of training for her to get it. But what's interesting is that her daughter, Gina, and the patient's Gloria, Gina went to a movie with her husband and they enjoyed the night. And Gloria was able to take the medications on her own without any assistance. So I want you to think of how impactful that is to caregivers and patients, knowing that a person with dementia was able to take medications unassisted. And because of that, Because of that, we've ended up doing research with Rush University in Chicago, which is NIH funded, for other dementia patients. And we're seeing the same thing. So I believe we're underestimating the power of the human mind and the capabilities of people if they have AI assisted robotics in their home. So I'm very, very excited of what the future could be.
That's beautiful. That's amazing, because the most important thing to a caregiver is the ability to have emotional freedom while they're away from their charge. I mean, what you're giving both people something special, because the people that have dementia, they want to live as independently as possible. And there's a light on in there. There's a light on in there. So, Charles, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the show today. Absolutely one of the most amazing things that we've had on the show. Please tell everybody again how they can get more information on your firm. Mr. Mendoza, website, please.
Please visit us at HiDO Health, HIDO health.com, or query on YouTube, and feel free to message or comment, and we will get back to you in short order.
You know, this is just a real example of serendipity and hard work working out to everybody's benefit. Charles and I have never met. We met, I guess, kind of through the internet, through LinkedIn. And I really can't thank you enough for coming and enlightening all of the people here on our show. I hope you'll stick with me. We're going to go wrap up the show, but please, Charles, stick with us for a couple of minutes so we can talk some more offline in the green room.
Will do. And thank you, Jim, so much for having me. It was a great honor to be on the show and talk to your audience.
It's our pleasure. As you come up with new applications and new devices, we look forward to having you back again. We do a lot of health and wellness. A lot of my peers are interested in health and wellness. We have a great relationship with the University of Miami Health System. UHealth is what we call them. And, we look forward to continuing to tell people how you can help them and their loved ones achieve independence. So thank you again, Charles. We look forward to having you on the show again. And I look forward to talking to you for just a couple seconds after the show about a couple of other things. And with that, Mr. Mendoza, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry. I'd like to remind everybody, Warren Henry Automotive, there it is. I want to thank everybody, especially Warren Henry. Our show's been on for 15 years now. For 12 or 13, I guess this month it may even be turning to 13. Warren Henry's been a sponsor on the show. It really is something meaningful to me, because by Warren Henry sponsoring, they help me bring people like Charles to our community and to provide content and a glimpse into the future and hopefully help people that need help. Warren Henry has always been a very big member of our community, and I want to thank them so much. Larry, Eric, Ismet, Warren, of course, Maytal, Jack's the F&I guy. He makes it all work. Gio, who sells me my cars, everybody. I want to thank them all so much. And remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you do want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you check out Warren Henry Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. And also, of course, Lincoln. I think I might have forgotten that in the last, but I got the head on Lincoln. Up in Gainesville, they sell the great Audis. I can't wait to go see them in a couple of weeks. And down in the Keys, they sell everything. Jeeps, all the other nameplates. They've got everything. All these cars are great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. The Warren Henry Advantage is a long list of services you get that includes they'll polish up your rims if you scrape them. If you lose your keys, they'll help you replace. I guess nobody really turns the key anymore. It's more of a pushing of the button. They'll help you replace those. They'll guarantee you're getting a great value on your trade-in, the best price on your lease or new car. You get 3 days to turn that back if you don't like it. Nobody ever does that. They love those cars. Join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. And now I'd like to thank everybody for watching. We drop a new podcast every Wednesday at noon. Text me, DM me if you see a topic that you want us to include. We've got some great shows coming up. We've already booked for the fall, great authors that are coming for the book fair. Thanks to Lisa Paley, as always, for helping us with that. I want to thank our friends and sponsors at Warren Henry and also at the University of Miami, at the University of Florida. Whoa, University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies, the Bergstrom Center. I'll be up there in a couple of weeks at the UF alumni, real estate alumni event. We have that every year for the board members. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to remind everybody my personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by bringing them peace of mind, solving their problems for them. Call me, reach out to me, DM me. You've got all my contact information. Remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you and God bless America. Mr. Mendoza, that's your cue.